All right, so hello, Capricorn, and welcome back to Divine Rebel. My name is Racey, and I'm going to be giving the messages for you today. This is for Capricorn and those with strong or significant Capricorn placements in their charts. Okay, I'm going to be using my Oracle of the Mermaids to get the overall theme for your month of June, and then I'm going to be using my Naked Heart Tarot as insight, okay? For those of you new to the channel, not familiar with me, please be aware I got no sugarcoating, no filter. I just read, all right? So if that is not your thing, got kids around, don't appreciate, those kinds of messages, they're just kind of raw like that. I'm always very respectful. I give you the opportunity to sign off now because I never know what's actually going to come out of my mouth, right? Whatever spirit guides me. So, you can sign off now. Otherwise, we are getting into this for Capricorn. All right, Capricorn energies. Spirit, please, what is the theme? What is the theme for Capricorn for June? The magic of the Cohellan Druith and Lemuria returns. 9 and 29. So you might be seeing palindromes or synchronicities with 929. Number patterns concerning 9s and 29. 29 breaks down to an 11, so 11s can also be significant. All right. 9s, 2s, and 11s. 1s, right? The magic of the Cohellan Druid is caution, secrecy, or wary. And Lemuria returns is about earthly spirituality, community, and ocean conservation, which is metaphorical for the soul, right? The deep self, the subconscious healing of the self. Cohellan Druith talks about a story where the mermaids, there was a very special kind of mermaid who had an element of magic to them, and they would come on land, right? They would release their home in the sea and they would come to land, and because the magic within them allowed them to shift, right? That they could let their fin go and take on human legs. So the myth goes, and they would fall in love with human men who, unbeknownst to them, were only out to steal their magic, which was in their hair. And once their magic was stolen, they would be completely heartbroken and go back to the sea to cry salty tears, which is where the salt in the ocean comes from, according to the myth. This is understanding who in your reality is taking the light or the magic of you for granted, who is valuing the magical element or part of you, but not valuing the real magic or the total magic of your presence as a whole. Understanding who has a selfish agenda and or motive that doesn't actually consider you. Oh, I almost sneezed. Someone who is considering something for themselves, but not considering you. It's ego driven, okay? It's not soul driven from the highest good, it's ego driven. On the other hand, you have this Lemuria Returns card, this very maternal, nurturing card, where there's this divine protection surrounding you. And I feel like you may be closing the chapter on someone whose reasons for having you around is more self-motivated. It's more for them than, and it keeps their interest in their highest good, but it's not necessarily considering your highest good or your interests or your needs, right? This is where I think you're going to be choosing between that person and someone who is more genuine and loving of the whole of you. It's almost like someone who loves the idea of you and someone who actually loves you. Right? Someone who loves the idea of you in their experience. And then someone who actually loves you. So we have these two different elements. Let's get some insight. Spirit. What does June look like for Capricorn with this energy? That this would be the theme. What's going on? Insight into Capricorn, Capricornian energy for June. Especially because Pluto is retrograding in your sign straight through October. This is healing deep soul scars or past life scars. Yeah, we got the 5 of Pentacles. The Heart of Wands, the Queen of Wands in the reverse. Could be someone with Aryan energy. The 6 of Cups and the Heart of Swords in the upright. Clarify the 5 of Pentacles. Clarify the 6 of Cups. Nine of Cups on the bottom. That's good. 3 of Pentacles on top. 2 of Cups underneath that. All right. Someone understands your soul, Cat. Listen. Someone understands your soul. You're in a situation in the beginning of the month where you feel broken or devalued or misplaced out of your home. And you're confused. You're confused. Because you don't understand necessarily why you maybe feel sad or feel broken. Like you're feeling the brokenness. You're feeling like you're feeling the devaluing of yourself. Probably from whoever this person is. because they're in it for what you can do for them, what boost you're giving them. But you're not being valued as a whole being. You're not being loved as a whole being, your presence. And so you're feeling sad. What you don't realize is that maybe this person, whoever this is, that doesn't value you, doesn't even know their own value or that they're lovable. And so they're ignoring the fact that you truly do care about them. It's just not in the forefront of their consciousness. That's why you help them. That's why your presence is there. A part of you knows you're helping them heal. You're giving them a piece of you that allows them to heal. But you're sad there. But you're sad there and you don't understand why. And that's why, because whatever this Heart of Wands is, this Queen of Wands in the reverse, being clarified by the World card, the universe, I think that maybe you've denied in spirit what your heart really wants. Or you've been denied the fire in your heart for too long. What your soul wants, what your soul desires, what your heart actually desires. Because it's one thing to love another and to help them heal, but it's a total another thing to love yourself enough to be loved by another so that your own soul can heal. Six of Cups, we have a sacred soulmate, someone that you have known for many lifetimes past. They're a unicorn for you. There is no one else on this earth that could replace them for you and you for them. You are one of a kinds for each other. And with the Judgment card in reverse, clarifying it, there may be a part of you that is resisting or not believing in the resurrection of this unicorn. Or a part of you that has not opened up to the idea that you in fact are lovable, and that the reason you're attracted to this broken energy is because you in fact are broken. That you don't value yourself enough to value the people that value you. You're valuing people that don't actually value you the same way as someone else. This is about you understanding your own desire, soul level desire that wants to be loved and valued. You have a unicorn that values you, that you might be resistant to resurrecting, especially if it's a family situation. It's funny because the unicorn falls under Lemuria Returns and the Queen of Wands in the reverse falls under the Kohellan Druith. Someone is not aligned with your actual soul desires. Someone else very much is. The Heart of Swords, your balance, right? Libra energy is present on the card. Your balance, your equal. The person who wants to love you the way you actually deserve to be loved, that would bring balance in. The Eight of Wands is in reverse, which means you're getting the spiritual pings or the downloads from spirit, the thoughts to reconnect. You're feeling that desire to reconnect, and you're kind of ignoring it. Making excuses maybe why you can't because you're tied to this Kohellan Druid, but they're only making your experience sad. They're only devaluing you. And it's not that they don't care about you at all. They're not necessarily doing this maliciously. It's just they are completely wrapped up in the idea of how they're benefiting from you within their own selves. You make them feel good. You give them what they need. They feel like their void is filled with you. Whatever voids they have, whatever brokenness they have, you're holding them together. You're making them better. But they're not doing the same for you. They're not doing the same for you. Maybe you can understand, right, this sad state that you're in, loving someone who isn't valuing you the same way. Maybe you can understand the other person who is loving you and trying to hold you together, and you're not valuing them the same way. It must be sad to be them because they're relating to you and you are relating to this other person, and it's sad to be you dealing with them. You're in a position where you can understand the sadness, the true sadness someone else felt or feels. Because they're trying to love you and it's going to waste, and or they were devalued and left broken. Or cast out from what feels like home for them, right? You understand what it's like to love someone else and be the void filler for them and not have your own voids filled, to not be valued back now. It's sad. You understand what it's like now to be in the person who actually loves you's shoes. It must suck to be confused and sad because you don't understand why the love you give leaves you feeling devalued, and it's because you're giving it to someone who doesn't actually value you and consider you and prioritize you and your voids. They were with you and you were devaluing them and not considering their voids. They were trying to fill yours, or they were filling yours, and you weren't recognizing it as such. And devalued them. And because you weren't valuing the sacred person, especially if they're a mother or you have children with them, because the Lemuria Returns card, I mean, she is a pregnant female on the card. You have to understand, if you feel shitty where you're at, loving someone who is not filling you back up the way you're filling them, how shitty it must have felt for that person to love you and fill you up and support you in the ways that matter, because your soul is being considered and not have their own soul considered. Think about that. You had to learn that lesson. You were not appreciating the love someone was offering to you at the time. A sacred soulmate, a unicorn. There is no other them in the world. They are the only one. There's no one else like them for you. At the time, you did not understand the love they were giving you with their actions. their words, their lessons, whatever they were doing. And so you ended up manifesting a situation where this person was no longer in your experience, and now you're being the void filler for someone else, and your voids are not being filled. You're not actually being valued or loved in return. Your soul's not being considered the same way. You might be getting what you want, but not what you need. Just like the other person loving you was getting what they want with you. They had you, but it wasn't what they needed. They didn't need someone whose voids needed filling, and they weren't getting their own voids filled. They weren't having their own soul considered. I hope this helps, because you got a choice to make. Ultimately, you have a choice to make. You got a wish fulfilled with this sacred soulmate who understands your heart. They understand what you need. It might not be what you want in your head. Maybe you want someone who works really hard. Maybe you want someone who earns a certain living and lives a certain lifestyle with you, but your heart's not fucking full. It's not about what you want. It's about what you need. This person, whoever this is, the wish granted comes with the person who understands your heart, who knows what you need, who understands the burden you're carrying, loving someone who doesn't value you. Someone married to you in soul. Connected with you in soul. It's an unbreakable contract. This could be a wife or a husband, or ex-wife, ex-husband, ex-partner. It could be a parent. An unbreakable contract where you're literally parent and child. You only have one mother, you only have one father. They're a unicorn. You only have one twin flame. You know what I mean? However this resonates for you. Someone understands what your soul needs. It might not be what you want. But what your ego wants is leaving you feeling broken and devalued. And what your soul wants, you're getting the pings for it and you're tuning it out, or making reasons or excuses why you can't or won't go back to where they are. I hope this helps you understand June, Capricorn, and why you're feeling what you're feeling. Spirit's pushing you in divine discomfort for you to understand this mirror. That the universe would put you in the position of another so that you understand them, what it's like to be them, who was dealing with a broken you, who didn't value your own self and your own actual needs. Soul deep. Your soul desire to be loved and valued. Someone who considers you in the ways you need. because they understand your needs are more important than your wants. It could be a very difficult choice for you to make. Releasing your voided, broken self that attaches itself to voided, broken people, and actually return to your whole self, where you can reciprocate and receive. That you can go from a state of being drained and giving of your energy, sacrificing your own happiness, to going back to a state where you truly feel at peace and loved and valued. You're going to have to sacrifice the self, the old version of yourself that you're used to being devalued, that is unfamiliar with valuing who actually values you. There's a difference between someone who appreciates you and someone who values you. There's a difference. Let me know in the comments how this resonates for you. Let me know in the comments how this resonates for you, especially if you come back halfway through the month or towards the end of the month and rewatch this. Let me know how this plays out, how it's ringing true for you in your experience, because I love to hear it. So until next time, Cap, Divine Rebel Racey signing out. I love y'all very much. Remember always to love each other, and most importantly, love yourself. Bye, everybody.